Welcome back to Game 2 of PARP versus the 9-inch Torpedoes. I am your caster here. Piper is, joined by Jingo.
How's it going, guys?
Pretty good. C-Van had to leave because his neighbors are trying to sleep. And apparently he lives in a neighborhood filled with old people. Now, apparently, I don't actually know if that's true. Now, apparently, my microphone has been coming in quiet, so I apologize for those of you who have been dealing with my quiet microphone. But that is largely due to the fact that this is a professional recording microphone, and I am not quite sure how to screw with that yet. But that's okay. We're getting into Game 2. Jingo, what do you think about these picks and bans?
I had this feeling that Blockstream will pull out Aatrox this series, and I'm so happy I get to see it because Blockstream makes Aatrox look pretty dang good.
I'm kind of sad we didn't get to see it in the game with Kane, because then we could have had the Aatrox versus Rost matchup. See who the ultimate Darkin is. But we've got the Warwick going against the Nocturne. Interesting that we've got that super high sustained jungler versus that sort of farm to 6 and then free gank jungler.
Not to mention that 9-inch Torpedoes picked up the Oriana. So throw the ball onto Nocturne, ult in.
Yeah, throw that ult onto Nocturne, get a huge thing. They also have the Pantheon for that flank engage. The only thing to worry about with their comp is that the only real tank that they have is, like, Braum. And he's not going to be super tanky like a top lane tank.
Braum is very item dependent.
But we do have that Braum Lucian bot lane coming in. Quite an aggressive bot lane going in against. And here we have Greg getting his hands on the Xerath, which is interesting because that was banned against him last game.
I think passive-aggressive Red Panda realized that Sadistic's Twitch is a very real and viable threat. I was surprised they didn't ban it in the first round, but they banned it in the second round at least.
But you still give up the Lucian for Sadistic, which I have not seen him play this champion yet. But considering how very skirmish-heavy he was on the Twitch, I would not be surprised if he does the same with Lucian. I know it is one of the champions that I tend to favor when I'm playing in the bot lane role. But that's because I'm an aggressive piece of trash. So
that's fine. I play Vayne.
You can't be aggressive until you get 2 or 3 items. And then you're just like, hello.
If they're out of position, you can punish them.
You're right. So, we're choosing our lineups. Jingo, how do you feel about these matchups going into this game? Just lane by lane, position by position. Tell me about it.
I don't know too much, honestly, about an Aatrox and Pantheon matchup. I don't play Pantheon. I don't play Aatrox. So it's kind of strange. I'm going to give the advantage to Aatrox with his passive, even though Pantheon does have to execute with his spear.
I think early lane, it goes to Pantheon because he's got, the spears that he can just keep spamming and hitting Aatrox with. Like, that is just so brutal to lane against. It's annoying. But I think Aatrox will scale better because Pantheon kind of scales into the dirt. You either have to build AD to be a threat or tank, and then you don't deal any damage.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that 9-inch Torpedoes is going to need is that secondary tank or bruiser. So either Nocturne or Pantheon is going to have to go into tank.
Now, this jungle matchup, I can give a little bit of insight on this. As you all know, I love me some Warwick. He is a brain-dead champion, but a stupid champion. He's got so much sustain, got the damage reduction on his ult, or not his ult, his E. He's got the long range ult that allows him to just put down that full suppression. But Nocturne can put out a lot of damage, and he also has the fear on his E. So I think it'll all depend upon who can get the jump on what, and also who's around the counter gank. Because if Warwick goes in and ults, when Theatrix is close enough to ult, it could easily get turned on him.
Exactly. I think Theatrix is definitely going to have to make use of his spell shield. If he's able to get clutch spell shields, I think the favor can and probably will go to him.
Mm-hmm. Now, mid lane, this is actually interesting, because I think this is going to depend a lot on execution. As long as Greg plays far back, he's probably going to be safe in this lane, but I think Orianna just scales so well. And currently, she doesn't really have much of a counter in that lane. The number one solo queue player in Korea, Dopa, or Apto, for those of you who are unaware, actually said that there isn't a champion in the mid lane right now that can beat Orianna in lane. So, interesting to see if Rob shows that Dopa's words are true or false. And then finally, we've got the bot lane matchup. Lucian Braum, super aggressive lane. They do have Daspite on the safe pick of Ezreal, but they also have the Alistar to go with that. That is an interesting choice, especially considering the fact that Ezreal doesn't have a whole lot of follow-up. He does have a little bit, but it's interesting, given that they're going with that AD carry when there's so many other AD carries that they can play right now. They had the Caitlyn last game. They could have taken that again, so just interesting choices. But here we are. We're going ahead and loading into the game as spectator delay runs out. And I need to change these names again. Doopy-doo. Doodly-doo. That's not my name. That's not my name. What the heck? Alright, there we go. We're getting loaded in here. Jingo, how do you think this match is going to go?
I'm feeling that the early game, I'm actually feeling 9-inch torpedo in this one.
Really?
I think it's all going to hinge around Daspite on Ezreal. I think Aurelion will spend a lot of time top lane or mid. Try and get those two ahead while Ezreal can build his tier into his mirror mana. And if I'm him, I'm building blue Ezreal with Frozen Gauntlet because they need to poke them out. He needs that extra armor against that Pantheon, Lucian, and Nocturne.
Mm-hmm. The only issue I think with going blue Ezreal is that it is a low damage AD carry comparatively.
Right.
So it'll be interesting, but they do have a lot of damage to back him up with the Warwick, with the Aatrox, with the Xerath. So perhaps that's their plan, is just to put him on a safe poking AD carry. But here we are, we're loading in out of the Rift. Pantheon has a green skin. I think that's a Dragon Slayer Chroma, actually.
Looks like it.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're just getting a standard fan out by PARP. Actually, we've got 4 people coming in the bot side, and Theatrix is putting some pings down onto the bot side. Looking like they might try another 5-man invade. I guess it wasn't them that tried it, but... And Rob, standing on a ward, gets tagged with a Mystic Shot. And he's just gonna walk out of there. We freaking ha. Alright, and apparently We have Greg being AFK because he's tilted. Just getting some standard starts out. Not a lot of excitement going on. I'm bored. Somebody kill someone. Iruyan going ahead and starting our Raptors for that early level 2, but Theatrix finishes his blue buff right about the same time. So he's not going to be too far behind on that clear. That's actually interesting by Iruyan. I normally don't start Raptors on Warwick, but I suppose he's just going to go for it. And he actually decides to skip the red buff and go straight to his Krugs.
I think he's probably going to save it for a secondary clear.
It's an interesting, though, because if Theatrix predicts this, he could go ahead and counter jungle that, especially because Warwick is super mana heavy in the beginning of the game. If you spam that Q, especially. So, I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with this. But what do I know? I'm playing AD carry now. Seaman actually getting the advantage of Balakastron in this early lane. But he is missing out on some farm. Go ahead and just lifesteal that back up. Interesting to note that the Ezreal actually has the farm advantage on Lucian right now too. I find that somewhat interesting. Seaman getting poked and tagged. Theatrix has already backed for his other half of his jungle item, not yet completed, but that's okay. Greg hitting Rob with the stun and takes him down to half health with a full combo, but now he is out of mana, so he's going to have to use that Xerath passive to bring it back. And Rob is just going to pop a potion, and it looks like he's going to be okay. He does get hit with another stun, point blank, but not much follow-up by Greg. Does hit him with some autos. He does have Rob down to half health, and he does not have any potions. Whereas Greg still sitting on 1, still at full health. Yeah, no, it looks like Iruyan still has not taken that red buff, but Theatrix looks like he's trying something in this top side, hiding behind this lip. And he's going to show himself, and is now just going to walk out. Greg hitting Rob with that trade, getting the Thunderlord's proc. Interesting calls.
I think Theatrix was caught up, was spotted by minions as he was coming up top.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the plan was there by him. He doesn't have ult yet, so he's not going to have a very strong gank unless he can get in range to fear, but, you know, I think Caleb is too smart of a player to step up against a Pantheon when his passive is still up. And now Theatrix hovering around mid lane. Go ahead and walking in onto Gurg. He's going to tag him with the Q, but nothing is going to result from it. And Rob actually only has... He has sub 200 health. Forces the flash out with that well-aimed combo. Interesting. And Robababa is going to have to back. Ooh, but here we go. Balakastron trading in onto Seaman. Gets the first blood on him. Disrespect coming from Seaman. Jingo, this is the part where you're supposed to analyze like what happened and why it happened.
I missed it. I was looking at bot lane.
Nah.
Comment on the fact that Theatrix took both scuttles, so he's about to hit. I thought he was closer to 6 than he actually was. So
it's not
never
even
mind.
5 yet. It's not even 5. He's been
right.
Yeah, he's been using a lot of time. A lot of trades going in on the spot lane though. Does get the passive proc onto Boom Markle. Yeah, but it just looked like Balakastron just dove in onto Seaman because Seaman had no mana and was not really able to retaliate. So good solo kill by the Aatrox.
Seaman picks up a great Glacial Shroud.
Now Boom Markle going in for the combo. He's going to take down Sadistic to half health, but he does trade back, actually getting in some good damage onto him. And Rob is here. It looks like he's going to go. Hits him with the 2-man ult, and Rob gets revenge. Bot lane. But here comes Balakastron going in and taking down Sadistic. Double kill, triple kill for Balakastron on the Aatrox. And just like that, a 4-0 Aatrox. That is scary. We've got a little bit to worry about with this Aatrox getting big, and Theatrix getting stunned up there. It goes ahead and flashes, actually. Greg going in and flashing forward with the Q, but does not get the kill. Not actually even sure if he connected there. But now we have a massive lead for the top laner, and it looks like Balakastron is going to look to carry. And Seaman is going in on Aruyan, actually. Takes him down to sub 200 health. And it actually looks like Balakastron is going to build into the Rage Blade first. I think that is what those components are building into.
That's my thought. I guess he wants to get the heals, I guess, every 2 auto attacks once it's stacked.
That is actually an interesting build. I have not seen a lot of Aatrox, largely because that champion is hardly played, but that is an interesting theory. Sadistic going in and trading in some autos onto the Alistair, but he is a beefy cow. No steak for dinner yet tonight. Does hit a massive combo onto the bot lane as they group up for that. Nature Dan going to block up some of the shots, and Kevin Holland, aka Sadistic, is going in. But here we go, Balakastron going to hit and diving in onto Seaman. Meanwhile, Sadistic is trading in on the bot side. Just fights going on all over the place. Rob sidestepping that stun, but he does get tagged by the slow, and Warwick is here. He hits him with the infinite duress, hits him, tags him, and he is down to Aruyan.
The true shot barrage just barely misses.
Barely missed, and Balakastron goes in. He is unstoppable. 5 kills onto this Aatrox, but Theatrix diving in onto Greg, and gets the kill back for his team. I think we really have to worry about this top lane, though. Balakastron is breaking this wide open. Seaman cannot even stand in his way.
I mean, he's building armor components first. He's not building any damage, not building any health.
Yeah, he is not going to be able to deal with this Aatrox at all. And just like that, first turret before 10 minutes in the top lane. Disgusting by Balakastron. I gotta tell you, he's making Aatrox look relevant. And he does go ahead and purchase that Rage Blade and boots, so he can chase down his targets even faster. And Sadistic going in, trading without any mana.
Rob sneaking in, but he's going to be spotted by the ward in the bot.
Yep, they are spotted on that ward. I'm getting told by people watching the stream to fix my things. Shut up. Do get that control ward in there, and they do get rid of that ward, but the damage has already been done. He has been spotted out. And look at this. They're going for the Rift Herald, because top lane cannot really contest this at all. Seaman does put down a ward, and he does dive in, but he's by himself, gets suppressed, and he's just dead. Ambitious play by Seaman.
11 minutes in, and we have a 6-0 Aatrox.
Yeah, that is scary. Any champion with 6 kills is going to be very, very scary. And now Greg going in and hitting Rob, tagging him with the ult, forces the flash out, but Balakastron dives on top of him, and Balakastron is godlike, cresting 11 minutes and 30 seconds. Already 7 kills. Absolutely disgusting performance on this champion that many people would consider irrelevant. Oh, but they are getting Dova. They are going to go ahead and tag Greg, and he is down. The mid lane sub gave up 2 kills already just from that heavy dive from 9-inch torpedoes.
C-Band trades his flash for the kill, but at least they're picking up kills where they need it.
They also do get that Drake, which is going to allow this team to roam around even faster, which is scary with the likes of Aatrox and Warwick already. Plus that unlocks the Alistair to roam a little bit. Good damage coming out from Kevin Holland. He's going to unleash the culling onto the back of Deathbite, but Balakastron is snuck in here. They don't know. He's going to get hit. He's going to get hit with the ult from Boomarkle. Seaman diving in onto Alistair, and Alistair is gone thanks to this timely stun by Seaman. 1 for nothing. Overall, good turnaround and good heads-up play from Seaman, not letting that early disadvantage getting him down. He is actually barely up in farm, but when Balakastron already has 7 kills, doesn't really matter.
I think the important thing for 9-inch torpedoes is that they're picking up kills when they can get them.
And Balakastron is legendary. Greg tags him with a couple shots of the ult. Aruyan goes ahead and ults onto Nature Dan, and Nature Dan is taken down by Aruyan on this Warwick. And again, it looks like this top side is just doing so much work for PARP. It's ridiculous. And just like that, they have all of the outer turrets down already. This gold lead has ballooned to 4.5k at 13.5 minutes. And PARP is just putting on an absolute clinic.
I just want to point out that 3k of that gold lead is on Balakastron.
Yeah, I think exactly no one is surprised by that.
Nope, probably not.
He hasn't backed in a long time either. Oh, wait.
Yeah, he's sitting on 2,200 gold.
I got delayed a little bit. Yeah, 2,200 gold, and he still hasn't backed without a death. I'm not even sure if 9-inch torpedoes have a way back into this game with how fed this Aatrox is. I mean, unless Greg keeps doing stuff like that. That was an ambitious play by Greg Kamish, Kevin Highland. Seaman's getting dove on by Balakastron. He's going to take him down to half health, but he's a little too fed. And Boomarkle is getting hit up. Rob ults himself. Sombrero Theatrics going in and hitting that. Well, Seaman actually takes the passive off of Balakastron, and he's going to try and run away, but I think he's just dead. Rob does get the kill on the Deathbite. Seaman avoids the E from Balakastron. Going in. He misses the E! Oh, he almost had the outplay. Oh, he must be so sad right now. Oh, I gotta tell you, I'm not even playing in this game, and I'm tilted from watching that.
Same.
That is so sad. He almost had the outplay. If you would have had the E on top of Aatrox there. Tilted. But these aren't even the right torpedoes. These are the 9-inch torpedoes, not the tilted torpedoes.
Well, I mean, first he was able to dodge Aatrox's E, Blaze of Torment, which allowed him to set up for that potential outplay. He did so much right, and then he missed his heart seeker strikes.
Truly heartbreaking. And we're getting
He
some...
struck his own heart.
Yeah, he struck my heart with that one. Just getting some buff transfers right now. Now, the gold lead has shrunk to about 3.3k at this point. So, the Torpedoes are looking to make a bit of a comeback here. But Balakastrand is just huge, and he's going in and building a Black Cleaver next on this Aatrox. And Balakastrand is going to dive in onto Seaman here, forces the flash out immediately. And Greg is going to go ahead and ult Seaman, but tags him with a couple shots. Now, he doesn't have any magic resist, so that's Spike getting chunked. It forces out the heal, actually. Theatrix getting the ult off and killing Dotspite. Huge shockwave by Rob. Double kill by Theatrix. Another kill is going to be taken by Sadistic, and Seaman ults just to watch as his team does stuff. But Nature Dan getting creep blocked. Gets the flash. And it looks like the Torpedoes are just going to collapse on this dragon. Some interesting plays. Rob trading in onto the Xerath. Sadistic goes in and kills himself. Kevin Holland killing Kevin Holland. That is what we call suicidal intentions. Theatrix gets the smite. No problem. So it looks like the Torpedoes are actually trying to make their way back in this game. We haven't actually touched on this, but Theatrix is having a monster performance on this Nocturne. And I think the reason we haven't touched on it is because he's kind of been overshadowed by Balakastrand in the top lane.
Right. Something to point out that we mentioned before is that either Pantheon or Nocturne would have to go tank, and it looks like Nocturne's going just straight up assassin.
Yeah, I think that is the best choice, honestly, because you're going to have Pantheon looking to set up these engages with the ult, with the W in. I don't think they're really concerned with him having that damage, especially considering how far behind he fell early.
Right.
So,
And I believe that Nocturne's going to be building that third item into a Guardian Angel.
yeah, I think that is actually a good choice, considering that he's also going to be diving in, but he's already getting so much work done on this champion. Hasn't died on this super all-in champion, which is interesting. But here comes Aruyan getting the suppress onto Nature Dan. Lot of damage coming out. Boomarkle headbutts him away. 3-man shockwave by Rob. And he does not get the kill. Aruyan actually takes down Theatrix for his first death. And Kevin Holland returns the favor onto himself, killing his other self again. Seaman, Rob gets the kill onto Dotspite, and Seaman picking up the kill on Boomarkle. Overall, in the extended trade, a 3 for 2. Seaman diving back in onto Aruyan. And I think we're done. Looks like they're just going to go for this tower. Landing that combo. They actually need to be careful because they don't have any magic resist built on these teams at all. And they're just going to brute force that tower. I find it interesting how much the top side of this map with the jungler and Balakastrand is just strapping the team onto his back. The bot lane is kind of negligible. It's funny how this is all working out.
I think it's kind of interesting. Dotspite on Ezreal has not picked up a Sheen component. Or a Sheen, for that matter.
Yeah, that is something I find interesting as well. When we, Three Pump Shops were playing against, who was it? Who were we playing against? Chase Squad. Their AD carry did not pick up a scene as well, and Aruyon is just going to get killed by Rob as I'm saying that. And Nature Dan is also going to down the Dash Bite. Theatrics with a nice spell shield and the flash out. It looks like he's going to get out because of that timely spell shield. And he's going back in on Balakastron. Ambitious play. Thought he could get the burst, but it just wasn't enough. 3-4-0. I think Adam is what we call in the business a wee bit tilted. Oh, but Seaman looking to ult onto this tower. Kevin Holland going in, hitting up Aruyon, and he just gets taken out by the other Kevin Holland. One-man shockwave by the Rob. Taking out Boom Markle. Not taking him out, but going on down. Nature Dan getting the speed up, trying to get that passive proc, but can't quite hit. Sadistic gets hit by the stun. Dashes away, and he is hitting Boom Markle up for that damage. Dashes behind the wall, and Kevin Holland does get the kill onto Boom Markle. I keep changing these names. That's Sadistic, but you get the idea. Kevin Holland has less than 50 HP, and he's going to not get sniped out. Fancy feet on that Lucian. And Kevin Holland has not succeeded in the suicide yet again. You know, something I find interesting. Seaman hasn't picked up any magic resist at all.
Who?
Seaman has not picked up any magic resist.
Seavan. I'm like, wait.
Yes, Seavan, the guy who is not here. He hasn't picked up any magic resist because he's not in this game.
That's a good point. No, I guess he's just worried. I guess he thinks Zereth is a non-factor for him.
Yeah, but I would still wager that Zereth is putting out a lot of damage.
So absolutely.
So
he's chunking a lot of people.
Which
is allowing Caleb to come back in and just clean it up.
Yeah, I find that call very interesting. I mean, I know you don't have a lot of gold to work with this huge deficit that you're in, but you know, not even any sight of that. And Nature Dan is getting dove on by Balakastron, but the team is here to back him up. And they're just going to peel off.
If I was playing Pantheon right now, I wouldn't be going for what I'm assuming
is a Dead Man's Plate.
Dead Man's Plate.
Does dive onto Ruyon, but Balakastron dives back, and Theatrics is down instantly. Kevin Holland hitting them with the Q, but immediately turns tail and runs out of there. And that is a 3-0 for PARP. And they're going ahead and push up this mid lane. Kevin Holland killing Rob with the snipe. He is on a rampage, or killing spree, whichever one it is. I don't really know. I'm not paying attention. Ooh, goes for the snipe. Does not hit it. And does Kevin Holland? He does. Kills himself. Ambitious play by the Greg Holland, Kevin Holland.
All right, so jumping back to what I was saying before we had huge team fight. Skip Dead Man's Plate. You need the HP, I get it, but probably go into a Gargoyle Stone Plate.
Yeah, I think Stone Plate would have been the better option here. But look at this. They're going for Baron. When 9-inch torpedoes are all up, and if Theatrics has his ult, he's probably going to go for a steal on this. He does. He goes in for the ult. Actually goes in and just dies. Awkward. But Seaman hitting the stun, gets feared and exhausted. Boom Markle going to flash out, and Aruyon is ulting onto Seaman. And it looks like PARP is just going to walk out of there, getting that Baron and a kill for free, basically. Aruyon going in solo. Oh, but never mind. Kevin Holland is in a backfiring shot. So Aruyon going to take out Nature Dan, but he does get cleaned up. And Rob actually got a kill onto Das Bite off screen. Does hit that ult and double kill for Sadistic Kevin Holland. So actually got 3 of the Baron buffs off of that. which is not the worst thing, actually. But Balakastron is still deathless on this Aatrox. So, interesting Lucian build we have going on here. Does have the Blade of the Ruin King, but instead of a Black Cleaver, opted to go for the Phantom Dancer second, and then that pickaxe looks like he's going to either build... I would assume that's for a Death's Dance?
I'd say probably Death's Dance. He's probably looking to stay alive, which is why he picked up the Phantom Dancer.
Yeah. Oh, nope. Infinity Edge.
Straight up on an IE.
He just goes ahead and going for that damage. I don't blame him for that. You know, I think having a lot of damage is a good idea for an AD carry. But Nature Dan is by himself. Interesting positioning choice by him, and he's just gonna get killed. So report Braum feeding.
I mean, I understand you got to put wards down, but when you're just this far behind, keep your wards tied to your base.
When you're this far behind, you don't go out that far as a Braum. All right, you're only mobile if you have a champion within so many units of you to use that W. The closest champion was by Wolves. I'm not sure what he was thinking. So, yeah, not efficient use there of his life, and because of that, 9-inch Torpedoes is just going to lose the top side of their base. With mid inhib already down, they're just going to get these 2 inhibs, and actually they might make a push to try and get some damage on this Nexus turret, because I think they know that 9-inch Torpedoes don't really have the will to fight. I mean, unless you're Theatrix. He has the ball on him, actually. He's looking for that ult, but only hits 1. And he just gets bursted instantly. Seaman with the dive, killing a Ruyon, actually. And Rob gets taken down by Boom Markle. Balakastron diving onto Lucian and getting the kill. And Nature Dan just going to get taken out by Balakastron. That game is done. GG. PARP taking the series 2-0. Insane series. What a game.
I want to play Aatrox right now. Not gonna lie. He made it look palatable.
Yeah. He made that champion look good. And like I said, look at the damage charts. Xerath topping those damage charts. Which makes me question, why didn't you build Magic Resist? Even though he didn't necessarily have, like, the flashiest score. Yes, 6, 13, 17, whatever. But, like, he did so much poke damage. You can't just ignore that. That is a huge criticism I have for this team. Caleb wasn't any slouch either. He did the second most on his team as well. I have a black screen because I forgot to switch that. Here you go. There we go. Sorry about that. Forgot to switch that. Anyway. Player of the game. Is there any question?
It's got to go to Caleb.
Yeah, I think he just unlocked his team with that huge lead he got early. Didn't necessarily put out a whole lot of damage. I mean, he did put out a lot of damage, but, you know, Greg topping that charts. Of course he's playing a poke champion, so that's what's going to happen. But so much split push potential. Just absolutely made the Pantheon a non-factor in this game. I think it's pretty obvious that it's going to Caleb. But don't let me influence that. Go ahead and put in your vote. Chat is saying screw DPS. Yeah, I get that. That's what I'm saying. I said he is the MVP because he just set up his team for success. With his just ridiculous performance. I gotta let them know who the So, what do you think about this match, huh?
I think the first match was a lot closer, and I think the reason that they pulled away so hard with game 2 was they banned out Sadistic's Twitch.
Mm-hmm. I think that was a good call by them as well. Sadistic put in so much work on that Twitch just to make that game close. I'm going to go ahead and see what the results of this poll are, because we do need to check this out. And, of course, it is Caleb with 7 votes on that Aatrox. So I think he already knows. He's already in there. So let's go ahead and join the players for the Player of the Game interviews. We are here with the 2 MVPs. Balakastron, I think you knew after that monster game that you would get the Game 2 MVP. I don't actually have you on my client. I think it's because I'm at my friend limit. So let me go ahead and just delete some of these people.
Greg, you're muted.
Yeah, Greg is muted.
Hey.
So, yeah, wonderful job by the team of PARP here. Looking in, Greg getting that sub position and just going off on the Lux, and then again on the Aatrox. Not necessarily the flashiest KDA, but you did put out most damage both games. What was going through your mind when you were subbing here?
Well, I mean, as you kind of said it, it's not very easy to get most damage because you're a long range mage. Actually, kind of going, I was actually surprised I got player of the game for game 1. To be honest, I don't think anyone on our team specifically I would have given it to. I think that first game we all just played really well. We kind of got to the late game and we were like, all right, Caleb, you're just gonna go to kill Twitch, and he's like, all right. And so he just goes and kills Twitch while the rest of us kind of just AFK and, deal with karma. So I think that was honestly something I had a lot of fun with in this series, just that they have a lot of good teamwork, and you can tell they've been playing a lot together.
Yeah, that's kind of the deduction that the casters here came to as well. We were actually thinking that the most standout player of that game was Theatrix. He was putting in a lot of work on that Kayn, but unfortunately just not able to clean it out for his team.
Yeah, I think I think we just kind of played team fights really well. I mean, we knew exactly what we needed to accomplish. I mean, obviously they were trying to keep the Twitch alive, but they didn't really have an answer to that Olaf. So while Caleb was just diving into Twitch and they were focusing on it, they didn't really have any other damage carries to kind of do anything. So yeah, we played it well, I thought.
Yeah. Now, Balakastron, I'm going to come to you for this next question.
What's up?
Aatrox.
Yeah?
Why Aatrox?
Because he's my bae. He's my main. I mained him for probably a year.
All right.
He's spicy.
I like it.
And I think it was Shad who just mentioned it barely, and then I just locked it in. You could call me the key.
Yeah.
Elliot was like, "Should we go Aatrox?" And Delo just decides to chat Aatrox inside.
Doesn't even think about it, just goes for it. I like that. That's moxie. I can appreciate that.
Caleb, I was hoping that you would pull out Aatrox this game, or this series. I've been waiting for it.
It hasn't been going well, honestly. We did it. I think we've done it twice so far in our games, and it just hasn't been kicking off. But I think that game did that thing. That TP gank just unleashed something inside me. It got juicy.
Yeah, that broke the game wide open a little bit. Getting an early triple kill when you already got the solo kill, first blood on Pantheon. That was somewhat akin to a squirrel, because that was a wee bit nutty. Wow. You're welcome.
Nice.
Jingo, is there any questions you want to ask? I know you should be doing that more because you're more analysis than I am.
Okay, so typically I see a lot of Aatrox players, they'll start with their life steal item. And Piper and I both noticed that you went for pickaxe into the recurve bow. I think that's what it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And said, I think he's going Rageblade. So my question to you is the reason that you picked Rageblade first item so that you could just sustain it in lane against the Pantheon?
So I did that for multiple reasons. I did it because I knew going into the game that that was probably what I was going to do, just because they did have quite a bit of champions, especially Pantheon, that if I bought any lifesteal item, they would have just said, oh, hey, cool, we're going to get that, whatever it's called, the one that makes me sad as an Aatrox player. People always buy the one that gives me grievous wounds. I don't know what it's called.
Executioner's Calling?
Executioner's Calling.
That one, yeah. And so I was just like, I'm feeling spicy, and no one can stop me. So Rageblade, and I figured if I could just get out as much damage as possible, I wouldn't need the sustain that more lifesteal would give me. That's basically what my thought process was.
Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense. You were already so ahead. Like, why not? Just go ahead and put out the Rageblade. Now, coming back to you, Greg, what is with this Kevin Holland thing?
Rest in peace. No, he's it's actually pronounced Hoagland.
Okay.
Kevin Hoagland.
Okay.
So get your facts right, all right, Piper.
All right.
No, but he
Fake
told us
news.
he was gonna watch tonight. Me and Zach Sadistic, he's our big Kevin Hoagland. And he told us he was gonna watch tonight, and the winner of tonight's game, he was gonna buy them dinner and unlimited drinks. Well, he didn't tune in tonight. He apparently had something going on, so we both used all our IP to change our names. Zach doesn't have enough to switch back, so he's gonna be Kevin Hoagland for a while. I luckily do. By the way, he's the imposter. I'm Kevin Hoagland with an L. He has a capital I. So just to make sure that's clear.
Yeah, it showed up on the spectator once they got kills. You could see the difference in the fonts. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word there. It's like I had a stroke or something. We do have a question from the chat. Opie1 asks, question for Greg, what team will you carry next?
Well, I really want to sub for Chase Squad. That's just because I want to get an idea of what the absolute worst League of Legends players are like. That way I can just try to avoid them as much as possible. That's kind of my goal. So I'm not sure about carrying, but I really want to play on their team just so I can learn how low the bar can possibly be set.
Straight savage, diving into Chase Squad. Next question we have from Fleeing Panda. This isn't directed at anyone, so both of you can answer. Fleeing Panda asks, is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Yes, it is. 100%.
All right, we are mixed on the player desk.
Hot dogs are abominations.
That's what I was gonna say, Balakastron. We're getting along great here.
I'm going to say it's not a sandwich because a hot dog can exist without the bun.
Yep. Well, 3 for 1. Looks like you are outvoted here.
You never
like
just
to,
had a handful of peanut butter?
I would like to say the Aatrox built Goonsus and Black Cleaver and didn't auto attack a single time that whole game. All right, just saying. Spellcaster Aatrox.
Hey, I didn't die. Okay, that's all. That's all what it was
So
about.
there was that one
Okay.
situation where I was kind of caught out, and I was like, "Oh, Caleb, you can come in." He's like, "Nah, man." I'm like, "Caleb, you have half health. You still have hex strength." He's like, "I don't want the perfect game, dude. I'm not losing my perfect game."
So you're a filthy KDA player, is what you are.
Listen, I didn't have any abilities. I didn't want to risk it.
Didn't have the cooldowns. I see. All right,
Yeah.
some more questions coming
You
in.
got more biscuits.
Even though he has auto attacks.
Some more questions coming in. Fleeing Panda asks, does a pineapple belong on a pizza?
No.
No.
Pineapples are abominations that do not belong on pizza
That
or
question
in
is you need to
people.
be asked.
All right, so we're not going to ask any more questions from Fleeing Panda. You've been locked out because of your bad questions. Sadistic SG asks, question for Greg. How many times do I got to slap the shit out of you before you realize I'm the better Jake the Dog main?
Oh man, he is. I'm not denying it. He is the superior Jake the dog. Dude, I gotta give it his Lucian play that game. Like he was making some nice flash plays towards the end of the game. He was doing some spicy stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, he's still boosted. But...
He did put out the most damage on his team, actually eclipsing Caleb on that Aatrox.
what a surprise!
It is a
An auto attack.
I gotta tell you, I really favor Lucian as an AD carry. He's just a lot of fun, especially for people who like to play aggressively, and it seems that Sadistic really likes to do that. So,
Yeah, so we're switching to Adventure Time Battle Party next split, by the way.
I like it. I like it.
Oh,
Is
hey,
that the
we're-
fabled League of Legends 2 that Donkey was telling us about?
Yes, it is.
All
Are
right.
we gonna let Adam in here? I thought, were we doing that?
I mean, I'm down. I don't know where he is. Hold on, let me message him.
I mean, if you want, or if people just want to do it. I thought that was a thing we wanted to do.
Yeah, I'll message him because he might have forgot. He might
He's
be
coming.
talking to his team. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let him get in here.
Can I ask him the first question?
Yeah, go for it.
I got a Jude lined up.
Oh no, I feel like it's gonna be savage.
I got a juicy one lined
Be
up.
nice. Be nice.
Wait, do we have to pull him in for player of the game, or is that just open? Okay, there he is. And there he is, Theatrix, the man, the myth, the legend.
Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Not much.
Good game, man.
Yo, good game, dude. You fucking monster.
Alright, let's go.
So, I actually do have a. I'm gonna defer the first question to Greg because he did politely ask, but I do have a question for you. So, but we're gonna head.
This is a two-parter, Adam.
Bro, I'm at me, guys. I'm in
Adam,
good
this is a
spirits.
two-parter. Number one, who are you more afraid of, the Xerath damage or the Aatrox damage?
Can I say the Warwick ult?
Oh,
Is
yes,
that-
you can. Hell yeah, you can.
It's silly to say that, but the problem for me was not so much the damage dealers on your team. It was more that I had one opportunity to go in on somebody and possibly set up an Ori ult was also like a side note of that. But the Warwick could just use his ult on me if there was no better opportunity, and that was kind of the stressful thing. Is like, when am I going to pop my spell shield, and is it going to block the right thing? Because I only had one. So toward the end, it was the Warwick ult that was stressing me out a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. The combo all across the board was kind of crazy once the Aatrox busted out the way he did. So
The triple kill.
you guys were all pretty scary, I'd say.
Now follow-up question. How do you kind of try to battle back when you have arguably the worst mid laner player I've ever seen in my entire life on your team?
Well, shout out to Rob. Rob is actually really, really good. I love that guy. So, no. To be fair, the Orianna, so control mage, like I said, in that second game, the goal was to get that combo, me and Ori, when it came to a team fight. And we tried to do it in the very, very last fight, which was already broken open because we had no other option than to just try it and see what happened. But unfortunately, things snowballed out of control pretty fast in that game. But the game plan, basically, when things kind of got crazy, was to hope that there was going to be a moment where Caleb went and split pushed. Because honestly, Caleb, I'm still pretty sure I could have 1v1'd you.
Hey, hold on. Let's rewind. Put us back in the game. Let's
Hang on.
go.
Hear me out here. So I'm sitting on Infinity Edge, Warrior Enchant, Static Shiv, Ninja Tabby, right? And I get a fear on you for 4 seconds. And I can ult onto you and choose when I do that. So honestly, if you didn't have your passive up, I was pretty sure I could 1v1 you. I could get the kill before you came out of your fear. That was
Plus,
my
I don't
hope.
think Caleb knows that Aatrox is an auto attack based champion.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I just.
Yeah, and
Listen.
that's not even me talking shit. My hope was that one of you, either you or maybe your bot lane or something, would split from the group of 5. But once you guys were all so strong, you did the right thing and you used 5. So it was really hard for me to dive onto anybody and get anything out of it. So you just played it well. You played it the right way and capitalized on your strengths. Can't complain there.
Now, I have a question for you. Busting out
Sure.
the Kane first game.
Mm-hmm.
That was some spicy gameplay. I gotta tell you, the casters were actually gonna give the player of the game to you if you guys had won, because just how all over the map you were and how impactful you were on the champion. What is your practice regimen for that champion?
Play him constantly.
Okay.
I jump into blind norms and I auto lock him and I don't say anything in champ select, and then a bunch of people flame and rage at me and tell me that they're going to report me, and then I carry anyway, and they don't. So that's how I do it. I just auto lock him in blinds and keep playing and keep playing and keep playing.
So what are your impressions on this champion so far? Like, what do you think are his strengths and his weaknesses?
His early game isn't strong in terms of invade. If I get into a skirmish with somebody 1v1 early, most champions are going to beat him. Obviously, if I were up against something like an Amumu or something that's just like worse early, I might have the better end of a trade, but you still don't really want to be invading with him. He's a super strong farmer, though, really. I can pretty confidently hit level 4 or close to level 5. There's actually this really cheeky strategy you can do where you start with your Raptors, you do your full topside clear, including Scuttle Crab, you back, you go to your Krugs on the bot side, and then as soon as you finish your Krugs, your Raptors will be up again, and you take that and you hit level 5. Every single time, without fail. You'll hit level 5, and that's when you go for your first gank, is with your 3 points into your Q.
And that's without an experienced Quint or anything, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Nothing extra, just basic stuff. In fact, I run the same runes and masteries on Kayn that I run on Master Yi. So really basic, like AD attack speed runes with armor and MR, and for a battle masteries. But this champ, basically, to answer your question, since I've given this whole explanation about his early game, I think that he is like the only champion in the game that is a bridge between the high farm junglers and the carry junglers. Whereas your impression of a high farm jungler would be like Shyvana, where she's going to be able to just like power farm and then become really strong. I kept up with her in farm, and also was able to outduel her if we were ever 1v1, and I could outduel Olaf, and I could get around the map. I think that he has a really unique place in the game, and I think that he might be one of the best junglers in the game. I think he's going to get touched up a little bit, but I doubt they're going to nerf him so much as they're going to try to balance the two forms and make them both equally impactful, because right now a lot of people's complaint is that the Shadow Assassin form isn't as strong. I don't actually agree with that. I think that it has ways that it's stronger, but specifically in the game we played, because they had an Olaf and a Shyvana, I didn't think going Shadow Assassin was a good idea. So that's all.
Yeah, we actually did note that. With the casters noted that you were ganking so much, and yet you were able to stay even with the Shyvana and farm, which was, quite impressive, especially considering how much her clear is noted. I'm going to pass the questions along to someone else if anyone wants to ask something for the team captain and the 9-inch torpedoes.
So I know this time you guys went towards, for game 2, you went towards more of a pick comp. With the Twitch being banned out from Sadistic, did that throw a wrench into you guys' plan?
Actually, no. Zach said in Champ Select that he was okay leaving the Twitch open for a ban. His idea behind that was, he said, I can play other things, and if they use the Twitch ban, or if they use a ban on Twitch, and I'm already in the mentality where I could play other things, then that could open some stuff up for our top lane, or I think it was him and top were our last pick, I believe. So it was just that he thought that he was going to be able to play something else, and it was going to be fine. And it wasn't so much that we wanted to go for a dive comp. That wasn't like the comp that we had. It was more just we didn't want a comp that was as susceptible to Caleb's split push as the first one was. Because we would find ourselves in the first game, obviously. We made some good plays in the mid game. We knew that was our power spike. But then we would lose a tower top. And all of a sudden it was all equalized. And I said during the game, and then I confirmed it after the fact by looking at the match overview, that we were never ahead in gold in the first game, simply because of the number of objectives that they took, towers. So, it was just the second game we wanted a bit more of an ability to be around the map the way that we could. So Nocturne, that was the goal, but obviously that early triple kill for Caleb kind of threw any plan a little askew. So we were kind of backpedaling for a lot of that, but it's okay. I think overall our team played a lot more cohesively this week than we have before. Last week, obviously, we played well, but as opposed to like the first 2 weeks where we just got utterly stomped, I'm a lot happier with how our team played through this individually and on a group level. I think that it was an improvement, so I'm optimistic about how this is going.
Well, improvement is the name of the game here in the PMA LCS. Do we have anything else before we want to sign off?
Caleb,
Hmm?
game 1, when you were trying to take the Rift Herald, how much did your heart break?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't even. Adam, were you guys aware that had happened?
I may or may not have been watching.
Okay, I was I was literally one auto attack away. I'm so sad.
I think it was you were sitting at it was sitting at 64 health.
Yeah, it was. And then I just see a Baron come swooping out, and I was like,
Hey, man, not everyone can be Hansu and I, you know.
Trying to
I'm
pull
so
the Hansu
sad.
when you're not a jungler. Get out of my house.
The weird part about that game, the reason why that happened is we were talking about it. It was like that game was slow and fast in a weird way. It was really slow getting to like what would normally be considered like mid game like team fights.
And then once it got there, it was like nonstop.
It was like, yeah, once it got there, we were already well into the mid game and almost to late game. Like
We were
we
very,
just
very stressed. Yeah.
we just it took the laning phase just went on forever.
Yeah.
And so,
I knew for a fact we had to get through our early game and that our mid game was going to be strong. And I said, you know, once we saw the Chevron and the Olaf and the Caitlyn, like that's a late game comp. If we screw up early game, then it's obviously going to be over. But we ended up getting into like a pretty crazy stalemate there where we knew like one fight was going to decide the game. And unfortunately, based on our map positioning, we ended up toward Elder Dragon when you guys were rotating toward Baron, and we decided that that was a trade that we were going to make. Ideally, we would have taken Baron in that situation, but we thought it would be dumb to try and contest you at Baron and potentially not have an Elder Dragon to fight you. So we just took what we thought the best possible option there was, and obviously the better team fight came out on top there. So, but that was definitely a dicey game. Pretty
yeah,
fun, honestly.
it was awesome. Oh, this whole series was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time, man.
All right, do we have anything else before we sign off?
Nope.
Oh, can I shout out to C-Man, my boy, for subbing in top for us, coming in clutch. I really appreciate that guy, and always being available to help us out. So shouts to him for sure.
Our mid sub needs to learn how to auto attack.
Oh,
Crash.
you're getting
I'm so tilted.
some
Good
shade thrown
job,
here.
Greg.
It's 12:30, but
Yeah,
it's just getting shadier and shadier as it goes on.
You call me shit.
Well. God damn it. Well, if that's all we got for week 5, is it week 5?
Yeah, week 5.
Nice.
Yeah, well,
Wow. For the first game of week 5 of the PMA LCS, signing out. I'm Piper is. We have Balak Extron. Gone. Age Crocs X. The next game. I don't know when the next game is. When is the next game? Saturday?
I think so.
Okay, yeah,
Really?
next game.
Saturday?
Yeah.
This is the first game though.
I know. No, cause I know 9-inch, not 9-inch. Team Foreskin and 3 Pump Trumps is delayed because both their mid laner and top laner for the Foreskin.
Yeah, seven Shades of Greg versus Chase Squad is gonna be this weekend most likely.
Yeah. So that's the issue there with those ones. So I think the next game is Saturday, actually.
I know that for 7 Shades of Grey, we're going to be looking at probably sometime around Sunday.
Okay, so Saturday and Sunday, and then 3 Pump Chumps will let you know about that, because that is obviously the most fun team to watch with our roster swaps and our flex picks and our Lugo. Just fun. But signing out for the first game of Week 5, I'm Piper is along with Balak Extron, Gone HXH. Yeah.
And Jingo Unchained.
Jingo and Theatrics. Thank
Oh,
you
forgot.
for tuning in. And good night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.